Ryanair has reported a loss of €197 million in the 6 months to the end of September as traffic fell 80% to 17 million passengers. Ryanair expects to record higher losses in the second half of its financial year. Neil Sorahan is the Chief Financial Officer at Ryanair and he joins us this morning. Neil, despite the headline figures that I've read out there, cost reduction measures implemented across the business means your balance sheet is one of the strongest in the industry and you have €4.5 billion in cash as of the end of September. How did you manage that?
Morning, Petula. Thank you. Yes, a very strong BBB rated balance sheet. We have been working very hard over the past number of months, as you said, to reduce our cost base, and we acted quickly at the start of the COVID pandemic to reduce discretionary capex within the business, cancelled our share buyback, and of course underpinned the strength of the balance sheet with a finance raise back in September, where we issued 400 million shares, 400 million equity in a management-led placing, and an 850 million euro bond at very attractive pricing. So we believe that this balance sheet, coupled with our industry-leading cost base, will put us in a very strong position when we come out the other side of the COVID pandemic to capitalise on the many opportunities that will be in the market.
You're warning that COVID-19 could force further cuts and leave capacity next summer as little as half of normal levels. Now, Ryanair, as you say, is in a good position to capitalise on growth when it does happen, but when do you think it will happen?
A lot will depend, Petula, on the timing of vaccines and indeed the adoption of the EU traffic light system, which will give people more confidence in relation to flying. We would be hopeful that we'll see a vaccine sometime in the first or second quarter of next year, which would enable us to ramp up capacity. We would expect, it's very difficult to put any guidance on traffic into next year, but it could be anywhere between 50% and 80% of the prior year's 149 million customers that we carried.
Ryanair launched a sale last week offering flights in December from $9.99. Do you expect to be busy in December flying people home for Christmas?
We hope to be. We would love to be, and one of the key things we're working on at the moment is making sure that our aircraft, our pilots, and our cabin crew are kept current so that we can ramp up capacity if we see a pullback in some of the various lockdowns and restrictions. The key would be to reunite as many people as possible. I think there's a lot of pent-up demand in the market, and people are very keen to travel when they can.
And what are passenger numbers looking like at this point for Christmas?
Well, our guidance for the full year, I can't go into specific month by month at this stage. The booking curve is very close in, but our guidance for the full year is that we will carry somewhere close to 38 million guests, down from the 149 million that we had last year, although there's probably more risk to the downside than the upside at this point in time.
It's reported that EU governments are considering the use of rapid tests so that people travelling from red list countries, for example, can produce a negative test and not have to quarantine for 14 days. Is Ryanair in favour of that?
We're in favour of anything that gets rid of the quarantine system that has proven to be very ineffective. Our preference would be pre-departure testing, possibly a number of hours before people get to the airport, or a number of days. We think it's important that the EU traffic light system is adopted. This is a regionalised system, so for example, if part of a country is locked down, the rest of it can remain open to travel if it's in a green or amber list. So we're very much in favour of that.
Okay. Pre-COVID-19, the big issue in the aviation industry was the Boeing MAX jets. Not as big an issue these days now in aviation, but you're taking delivery of Boeing MAX jets early next year.
Significant progress been made on that front, Petula. The FAA and the European Aviation Safety Authority here are likely to certify the MAX 8 to return to flying before Christmas. That would put us in a position to take delivery of our first MAX aircraft, which are game changers. They're 4% more seats, 16% more fuel efficient, 16% less CO2. So we're very keen to get these aircraft into our fleet. We'd hope to have maybe 30 of them before peak summer next year, which will continue to improve the cost base and our environmental footprint.
Neil Sorahan, Chief Financial Officer at Ryanair, thank you for your time this morning.